Hi, and welcome back. My name is Kristen Zellhart. I'm the head coach for Real Meal Hub. And in this video, we're going to be learning about whiteboards and recording. So right now, we are looking at a whiteboard. This is the Real Meal Hub Action Plan whiteboard, and this is an example. This is Alexis's room that we're in. The things I'm going to show you are, one, how to create a whiteboard. Up here on the left, you'll see that the three whiteboards are listed right here. And then next to them is listed what's inside the whiteboard, so what files have been uploaded to that whiteboard. So to make a new whiteboard, we're going to go here and we're going to click on this green button. It's a little plus sign. Oh, let's hit it again, make sure we get it. There you go. All right, so now we have a new whiteboard that just opened up. Now you can see in the tab button, it just says whiteboard 4. Well, that's not what we want it to say. We actually want to rename it. So you're going to right click, and now you can name the whiteboard whatever you'd like. So in this room, I'm going to add the action items whiteboard. This is the whiteboard where each week you'll be putting all the items that the participant needs to do for the week, such as filling out their weekly meal plan, or having them read something, or telling them about certain materials that they should review. Anything, any recipes, anything like that will go into this whiteboard. So that's how you create it. Now you're wondering, well, what goes in the whiteboard? So as you remember back in the File tab, we have a list of all of our files. So the action item whiteboard actually has its own template that I can drag in. So I went down here to restricted files and I opened it up. And now I'm going to click on the action item whiteboard template. And I'm going to drag this right into there. Now, did you see how I did this? I'm going to take it away. You just click on it and drag. And voila, it's there. Some other cool things you can do. So right now this is fitting to the whole page. But if you want to make sure that the whole document fits, you can always say full fit, this over here on the right side. You don't have to do that because also sometimes maybe the writing's a little bit small depending on your screen. You can actually zoom in and out so you can see the whiteboard better. Another way to make the screen bigger is actually to minimize all of these extra things on the left. Clicking that arrow right there. And now you can see you have more space. So you can drag other pictures in if you want to. You have space to be able to work with the participant. Then you see here I have a toolbar. Now this is a really important toolbar and it is used for lots of things in the whiteboard. And I'm going to go through a few of them. First, I want to just show you how to write in a whiteboard. So right here you have a little text box. So I'm going to click on this. And then I'm going to drag and make a little text box. Now, let's pretend we're in session 3. And we are going to be updating this to say session instead of week. Okay, so I said session 3, and I click enter or just click anywhere outside of it, and I have that on the whiteboard. Now, if I want to move that, I actually, well, it's letting me right now, but sometimes if you need to actually like pick something up and it's not letting you, you'll pick up the select an object button. And then you click on what you want to move, and then you can move your text box anywhere you want. Another great feature of inside the text box is that you'll be able to change the size. And here's something to know. Right now, I'm in the Files tab on this left-hand side, and notice there's no options for me to change the size of the text here. Well, if I flip over back to the Whiteboard tab, that's where you're going to have some of these tools. Very similar to a very basic Word program. You can highlight what you're wanting, and you can say, I'm going to change the size of the font, and it's just this scale, but you'll see the number. So I'm going to make it size 20, and I'm also going to bold it and italic it, and maybe I'll change the color. I want to change it to red. There you go. That's how you do it. And then you just click out, and you've got your text how you want it. Some other fun things that we have on here is you can draw. So I could say, I really want to make sure that you focus on your recipes. I could do that while I'm talking to the participant. I have this cool way of just bringing that to life and emphasizing things. One of the things that we talked about is in the meal plan. So I just clicked over to this tab. If you want to highlight certain things, and it's actually not on this meal plan up here, but we have a code. So if they're trying a new recipe or if they're trying a new food, you can underline it with the color so that they'll know, oh yeah, that's a new food I'm trying this week. So those are just kind of some of the fun things. Let me go back to the action items whiteboard. There's lines you can draw, there's shapes you can do, arrows. If you ever want to be like, oops, I didn't mean to do that, you can always press the undo button. That's this little green one. Okay, and then, oh, this is also a fun one. If you also decide, oh, I want to really like focus on this. You're like, I'm right here, see? And you're talking and you're explaining something. So these are all fun tools. And then let's move up to the next one. So this is a button that is very familiar. You notice it looks like a disk. We're used to the button save. Now this is going to save a individual whiteboard. So if I say click save, and let me move my head over there. Click save as. I'm going to name this whiteboard. So say we're in session 3, and this is action items. Okay, and I'm going to hit save. And then if we go over to the file tab, we'll get to see where that got added. So it's going to add it to the room files. And then what I can do is I can take this and I can drag it into the folder where it should be. So that then that week she has session 3 and she has her action items. And it's right in there for her. And one of the cool things is, so say when you want to see this file again, you can actually take this, drag it in here, and I just repopulated the room with this whiteboard. Now remember, this is replacing whatever was currently in the room. So you want to be careful when you do things like that you've saved the previous whiteboard so that you don't lose your work. Another way to save whiteboards, and this is kind of like when you go in a Word document and you're typing, and every so often you hit Control Save because you want to save it throughout. You don't want to lose anything. Well, you can do the same thing with whiteboards. So you can click All, and then you simply put Save. And now all 4 of the whiteboards that I have are saved. So then if you accidentally clear a whiteboard, right? Oops. Well, I mean, you could also do the undo, and that should put it back. But if that doesn't work, because it looks like it's not, you can say, okay, let's load. And it says, do you really want to reload whiteboards? I said, okay. And we'll wait and see what happens. All right, so we got to look at these and we're going to say, wow, look, it worked. All of the whiteboards are reloaded. One thing you might notice is that the order of the whiteboards changed when I reloaded. That's something that happens. They're working on some of these little glitches, but as long as all 4 of the whiteboards are still there, that's all you have to really care about. But just a note that they may reorder. So just know which order your whiteboards are in when going back and forth when you're talking with your participant. So that is how you save. That's how you save and reload. You also can, if you'd like to delete a whiteboard. So let's say we want to delete the action plan. We want to take that one off. So you'll click on the tab and then you want to find the right one. You can actually just click on this little X that says remove whiteboard. Okay. And then again, if you want to add one back in, you just click the plus sign. And I'm just going to do that so that this room is kept the same. And I'm going to say action items whiteboard, and you're back. And then we can go back into files and we can reload it again and put this in here. So she's got this set up for the next week. And so you actually do want to do that after a session's over. Before the next session, you're going to repopulate the room and you're going to take all of those things. So she has a meal plan. You'll want to save this the same way where you hit the save button, save the file, and then put it into her folder. And you do this just before your session so that they have all week to have access to this. And then it's just, you're taking it, putting it into their session folder so that they have the access to it, but we don't need it in the whiteboard necessarily anymore. We've also talked about leaving it in till their session starts and then doing this during the session and having them, we'll do this after we've gone over their menu with them. One of the other really cool things that we'll be working on is adding photos into their whiteboard. So if you go into the Photos tab, let's see if we have anything in here already. Looks like we have one picture. I'm not sure what it is, but we'll drag it over. And actually, we suggest that the participants name each of their foods for whatever breakfast it is so that they know and they can have that accessible, or the date of the breakfast. And so then you would just drag this in here. And the cool thing about photos is photos can be drug into a whiteboard and they don't replace what was in there. They actually overlay it. So the difference between a photo and a PDF is going to completely replace what's in the room. A photo, you just drag it on top. And then you can resize it just like you would in any sort of program like PowerPoint, and then you just add it to, so it looks like this is actually a dinner. And so I'll put it on top of this one. This is her dinner from Sunday, we'll just say. And you can just resize it to fit in there. And now look, isn't that neat? Like all throughout the week, they could populate their meals after they do it. And then below it, we also have what they wrote. So you have both. That's a fun little thing that we've been working on. So another important thing to know is we need to limit the amount of whiteboards to 4 whiteboards in your room. We thought about having 5 to be able to do the implementation form and having that piece come up, but it tends to cause the computers to crash. And we don't know exactly why. They were still working on this with iCollaborate, but as a rule of thumb, 4 whiteboards is the max that you can have open for your program to run properly. All right, so I've taught you how to save whiteboards. I've taught you about pulling files in from the files into the whiteboards, about how you can type and use the toolbar. And remember, with your participant, you're going to need to give them moderation in order for them to be able to also access this toolbar and then be able to collaborate with you in their meal plans. I taught you how to rename a whiteboard if you want to name it. One of the important things is we're going to have this review whiteboard. Okay, so this is another one that will be used a lot. This review whiteboard is where you will load files for them and what they can look at. So right now I have in here the identifying motivators challenges, because this is something they get after week 1, and they get to learn about what is a motivator and how am I going to pick my motivator, so they understand it. So those are all files that are kept in these different folders, but then they can actually take this and they can drag any one of these into here so then they can read it. Or they can also download the file, and they can do that onto their own computer if they like to watch it that way. But this is the place where they can drag different things, and so this is our review whiteboard. That's what we call it, reviewing of all sorts of things. All right, so let's move on to recording. Recording is very important because it will help your participants to be able to come back into the room after the session and rewatch what we went over, because it is a really quick 30-minute, 45-minute session, and there's a lot that we go over, and it's really nice to be able to say, what was she saying about the quinoa? Come back in, open up the recording and watch that and get all the information that they might not have heard well the first time. In addition, it's great for the coach because it gives them a place to come back and watch and say, wow, I really like the way I did this, but maybe I could improve the way that I did this. And so it's really a learning tool for the coaches and for them to go back in and to listen to what the participants said. If they forgot, they didn't take the best notes, and you want to go back in and say, oh, what was she saying about what she really likes to eat? And oh, I really wish I would have written that down. Well, now you have a record of it. So the way you do recording is we're going to go up here to the top, and it says record screen. Now it's very important that you have your Java plugin up to date. There's a separate tutorial that iCollaborate created that we'll send to you so that you understand more about recording and what it requires on your computer. But once you're all set up, you'll want to go up here and you press record screen. So I'm going to do this. All right, so this is what it says. See, it says that use a plugin that will soon be unsupported. I don't know what that means. We'll have to find out, but this is what it does with me. So we just moved over, and then we come back, and it says it's starting. It takes a minute for it to start going, but now you can see at the top where it says stop recording. That means that it is recording right now. And then it's also right here, it says recording user. So now it's recording both my audio and my video. So anything that I'm doing within this screen is being recorded. So they can see everything, moving from tab to whiteboard, everything I'm doing, all the different whiteboards that we go on to, they'll see that. So it's exciting, but you also have to just remember that you don't want to have anything else in the background, especially other tabs. We've greatly discouraged you from having any other programs running while you're recording and while you're using iCollaborate in general. But you don't want them to see that you're also shopping on Amazon while you're working with them, right? This is a completely professional and undistracted environment that we're in. So then when you're done recording, so you've done your 30 minutes, you want to make sure you remember to hit stop recording. All right? And then it does this again, and it might take you to a separate screen, but you'll come back. So I actually didn't want to do this. Alt-Tab, and it'll take me back to my screen, because right now I'm in full screen. And then when it's stopped, you're done. You've done your recording, and then you can actually go into this last little tab, and you'll see that this recording was just done. So it's the 29th of May, 2015, and they use European times and dates. So what you'll want to do is you'll say, okay, well, this was edit name, session 3, Alexis. And then that's your recording. And so now you have a recording, you've labeled it, and it's in this room, so both you and Alexis, or you and the participant, can both watch it. You can actually also watch it from the main tab. So just want to make sure we don't have anything else to do in here. I'll show you it when we go back to when I show you how to exit. You can also watch it from the dashboard. And that's all your videos. They all get stored there. So let's see, that's basically recording. The biggest piece is going to be making sure that you have the right plugins so that your computer can run properly. It took me a little while to get mine up because I have a Mac, and so just an FYI, you'll definitely want to make sure you have the right browser. I use Chrome, and Chrome seems to work really well with iCollaborate. So there is some troubleshooting that you might want to know about, or you should know about. Certain things like, well, I already showed you this one on the user tab, how to refresh so that you can change your audio or video settings. But there definitely are times when you may need to refresh because things aren't working. Your whiteboard froze up, something's happening. And so you can always refresh your browser. If things aren't working properly, you just tell the participant, I'm going to refresh. It may take about 30 seconds, and then you'll be able to log right back in. But let me just do that for you so you can see what happens. It actually logs you out, so it takes like 30 seconds to log you back in. So then it takes you back to the main screen, you log back in, you get into your room. You may also run into some problems with your audio and that piece, because it might be that for whatever reason it's choppy, the internet isn't that great that day, and so you want to make sure that you have your backup ready so you and your participant can quickly jump onto a call if the audio isn't working properly. So you'll have their phone number, or they can have your phone number, have both. And then that way, if you need to, you can jump on a call. All right, and what other troubleshooting? When you're doing your video, no, that's never mind. Okay, so troubleshooting your webcam, you've done all of that. So I think that's it. Oh, I wanted to just show you real quick. So the recordings from the dashboard are right here. You're gonna you can watch any of the videos from here, and you can see that they're in order of alphabetical in this one. So yeah, so then I have session 3. So you wanna make sure that you do want to do first and last names. I should have put that. So you want to say what the session is and the first and last name of the participant, just in case, because you don't know, you might have 2 Alexis and you don't want to confuse the 2. To download the videos, you can come down here, and there's 2 different ways to download. And from here, you can actually take these downloaded files and you can upload them to YouTube. So that's what we've been doing with the training videos. So that's really nice that you have access. You can actually download the videos out of iCollaborate so that you can watch them on a different platform if that's what you'd like to do. All right, so that's it, and I really appreciate you watching these videos, and I look forward to continuing the training and getting to know you all better. Thanks so much. And then I'm gonna log myself out. All right, take care.